And breaking at this hour here in New York City, more than 200 firefighters battling a massive 4-alarm blaze ripping through an apartment building. The urgent hunt tonight, the veteran detective shot and killed, a major reward. The submarine missing tonight deep beneath the sea, authorities waiting for any signal, dozens on board. Outrage tonight over killing elephants for sport. The Trump administration lifting a ban on some big game trophies. Americans can now bring African elephant trophy animals home. And your money tonight, Black Friday is here a week early this year. The app tonight that alerts you when new deals are posted by the hour.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Friday night, and we begin with a major winter storm bearing down right now. The Midwest about to get hit, then it moves east and quickly. Winter storm warnings up at this hour. The system already hit the west. Snow, fog, and sleet on I-80 in California. More than a dozen states now under alerts tonight. That same system is moving across the country, as you can see right there. Chicago, D.C., New York, and Boston all in its path, just as millions now prepare to travel for the holiday week ahead. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking it all for us. Rob, good evening.
Good evening, David. We saw what this storm did to the west, and now that the center is over the mountains, it's really going to start to wind up. Look at the map tonight, a strengthening storm with all these advisories. Still have winter storm warnings posted, but wind advisories across at least 15 states. The wind now is going to be the big story with this. Chicago, you're getting rain tonight. That will continue, but the winds will strengthen tomorrow and through St. Louis and through Memphis, Nashville, then in Louisville as well tomorrow night. Cincinnati, getting into Pittsburgh. Some strong storms with these as well. Then to the eastern seaboard, D.C., New York, and Boston Sunday morning. Most of the rain is gone, but the wind hangs, as does the cold and the snow. The wind chills Monday morning, teens and 20s. That wind's going to feel cold. It's also going to slow down air travel, and if you're driving on the highways, any sort of crosswind will nudge your car around. So 2 hands on the wheel if you're driving. David?
Good advice. Rob Marciano leading us off. Rob, thank you. We turn next here to the national outcry over sexual misconduct. Tonight, the president is now weighing in, blasting Senator Al Franken after a woman accused him of forcibly kissing her during a USO tour before he was a senator. But the president has remained silent on Roy Moore. How does the White House explain this? And by weighing in, does the president make himself vulnerable? Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
It didn't take long for President Trump to weigh in on that photo of Senator Al Franken as he appeared to grope a sleeping woman. In a late-night tweet, the president said, "The Al Frankenstein picture is really bad, speaks 1,000 words. Where do his hands go in pictures 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 while she sleeps?" And to think that just last week he was lecturing anyone who would listen about sexual harassment and respect for women. That searing rebuke came just hours after the accusations against the Minnesota Democrat became public. But as for the more than week-old allegations accusing Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore of sexual misconduct,
should Roy Moore resign, Mr. President? Do you believe his accusers?
The president ignored our questions repeatedly. With those non-answers and that attack on Franken, tonight the allegations of sexual misconduct against President Trump himself are back in the spotlight. From that Access Hollywood tape,
you know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the
to the more than dozen women who came forward during the campaign, alleging everything from sexual assault to harassment and inappropriate behavior.
All of these liars will be sued after the election is over.
Today, we put the question to the White House.
If it's fair to investigate Al Franken and the allegation made by his accuser, is it also fair to investigate this president and the allegations of sexual misconduct made against him by more than a dozen women?
Look, I think that this was covered pretty extensively during the campaign. We addressed that then. The American people, I think, spoke very loud and clear when they elected this president.
But how is this different?
I think in one case specifically, Senator Franken has admitted wrongdoing and the president hasn't. I think that's a very clear distinction.
No sign of Franken in the wake of radio host Leanne Tweeden's bombshell claims about their work together on a USO tour in 2006. In addition to that photo, she says he kissed her forcefully and against her will.
I was just disgusted. I just felt like, he betrayed my trust.
Today on The View, Tweeden revealed she's now received a letter of apology.
It says, "Dear Leanne, I want to apologize to you personally. I am so sorry. Sincerely, Al Franken."
And Cecilia Vega with us live tonight from the White House. And Cecilia, the president tweeting about Senator Franken, but you've learned from your sources that this is not a topic the White House wants to be talking about right now.
David, this is a point of frustration here. Aides would so much rather be talking about tax reform on a week like this one. Instead, you saw it right here today. Sarah Sanders in that briefing room taking questions, facing a barrage of questions about her own boss's behavior.
Cecilia, thank you. Meanwhile, Roy Moore's wife before the cameras today, a show of support from a group of women with her. And this evening, Moore's wife on why President Trump owes them. And Alabama's Republican governor with our Tom Llamas tonight. He asks her, does she believe the women, and how will she vote?
8 women accuse Roy Moore of inappropriate behavior, including sexual assault. Most say it happened when they were teenagers. But today, Kayla Moore defended her husband.
Wow, we're in a battle. Who knew?
Moore, surrounded by female supporters, insisting her husband never did anything inappropriate.
He has always been an officer and a gentleman. Yes. He is a loving father and a grandfather. And most important, he is a Christian.
And sending a message to President Trump. You're welcome.
I personally think he owes us a thank you. Have you noticed you're not hearing too much about Russia?
But Moore refused to take questions.
Mrs. Moore, any message to the accusers? Any message about the allegations?
Like her husband, only discussing the allegations on their terms.
And I'll quit standing when they lay me in that box and put me in the ground.
At his first open news conference since the scandal broke, Roy Moore dodging questions.
What do you think about all these allegations?
We followed him, trying to get answers. His supporters outraged.
You are the fake, lying news from the swamp.
Look at the mob. These people are sick, 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 in desperate need of Jesus, and they hate, hate, hate.
The latest poll showing Moore down, but the Alabama Republican Party is still with him. So is the governor, Kay Ivey, who said today she'll vote for Moore despite the accusations against him.
Are you going to be proud of your vote for Roy Moore?
Every Alabamian has a right and duty to vote, and yes, I'm proud to vote, and I hope every Alabamian will be proud to cast their vote.
And do you believe any of the women that have brought accusations against Roy Moore?
I certainly have no reason to disbelieve any of them.
All right, so Tom Llamas back with us tonight live in Birmingham. And Tom, we just heard the governor there. She says she has no reason not to believe the women, but she made it clear there she's going to vote for Roy Moore.
That's right. She says she wants a Republican in that seat because she wants Republicans to hold the majority in the Senate. That's a sentiment we've heard from other Alabama officials and voters here in the state. Whether or not Roy Moore acted inappropriately, for them, he's the Republican with the best chance of winning. David?
Tom Llamas on this race again tonight. Tom, thank you. There are 2 major fires to report on tonight. First, authorities coming before the cameras a short time ago near Philadelphia, revealing some residents of a senior living facility are still unaccounted for tonight. That fire burning quickly through the buildings overnight. There was an urgent effort to get 160 people out, neighbors racing in to help. And ABC's Eva Pilgrim is on the scene outside Philadelphia.
Tonight, authorities in a desperate search for those unaccounted for in the massive inferno that ripped through this assisted senior living facility outside Philadelphia.
Police asking for a mass casualty box with many additional ambulances.
More than 400 emergency workers scrambling through the night to save the elderly residents. Many couldn't escape on their own. Blanket-wrapped patients loaded onto school buses. The road crowded with wheelchairs and beds. Firefighters attacking the 5-alarm fire from above on ladders.
One of our firefighters went as far as he could until he started feeling his helmet actually start to melt.
Tonight, with hot spots still being put out, officials trying to make sure everyone got out.
We can't get into the structure. It's too unsafe, so the origin and cause is undetermined at this point.
David, in this massive rescue, about 160 residents and employees were evacuated. 27 of them were taken to area hospitals, most treated for smoke inhalation. David?
Eva Pilgrim in Philadelphia, where she reported for years. Eva, thank you. And the other major fire burning at this hour right here in New York City. Firefighters facing a 5-alarm fire of their own. Aerial images coming in this evening showing a 6-story apartment building engulfed with more than 200 firefighters battling the blaze in windy conditions. 34 apartments in that building, 5 injuries reported already, including 4 firefighters, all suffering non-life-threatening injuries. That fire is burning at 144th and Broadway. That's in the Hamilton Heights neighborhood of Manhattan. Meantime, time is running out tonight for the hunt in a missing submarine case belonging to Argentina's military. It was last heard from 2 days ago now. Deep beneath the sea, they are hoping for a signal, any kind of signal. Dozens of crew members on board that submarine, and here's Matt Guppin.
Tonight, that massive search off the coast of Argentina and a nation waiting for a ping of life from that missing submarine or any of the 44 crew on board. The San Juan is just one of 3 submarines in the Argentine Navy. The crew seen in this video navigating the seas by paper charts and periscopes. It was supposed to be a routine trip from a base in Ushuaia on the southern tip of the continent to the San Juan's home base of Mar del Plata. Argentina has deployed Navy ships, planes, and helicopters in the search about 250 miles off the southern Argentine coast. Local media reporting a fire on board knocked out communications at some point on Wednesday.
If you don't know where the submarine is, where it's in distress, then you can have all the rescue gear in the world and it's not going to make a difference.
And David, we've just learned that the U.S. has deployed a plane to that massive search site, in a rescue operation becoming all the more urgent because it's believed there's only enough air left in that submarine to last the crew for a number of hours. David.
All right, Matt Guppin with us on this tonight. Matt, thank you. Next here, the outrage this evening after a decision by the Trump administration lifting a ban on importing trophies of elephants hunted in Africa. Here's ABC's David Wright.
The majestic African elephant is still a threatened species, but as of today, big game hunters who kill these creatures in Zambia or Zimbabwe will be allowed to get their trophies through U.S. Customs. President Trump is not a big game hunter, but his sons are. That's Don Jr. in 2011, an elephant tail in one hand, a knife in the other. In an interview 2 years ago, Don Jr. insisted the money hunters spend on safari helps protect these creatures.
It all gets used. Nothing gets wasted in Africa. That money goes to fund the anti-poaching leagues that prevent the people from going in and doing damage.
But his own mother seems to disapprove. Ivana Trump wrote in her memoir, "Why go to Zimbabwe to shoot Bambi and Dumbo?"
They want to kill one of these animals to get a trophy for their room.
Today's announcement is sparking outrage across the political spectrum, from Fox News commentator Laura Ingraham to, just today, Ellen DeGeneres.
Elephants show compassion, sympathy, social intelligence, self-awareness.
The White House is pushing back, saying this action comes after a study by professionals at the Department of Fish and Wildlife. Still, conservationists are not convinced. David?
David, thank you. There is news on the Reverend Jesse Jackson tonight revealing his very personal battle. The civil rights leader revealing he has Parkinson's disease. He was diagnosed in 2015 and says getting around has become more of a challenge. Reverend Jackson says he plans to dedicate himself to physical therapy, hoping to slow the disease's progress. He said, "I do not see this as a stop sign," saying, "I would rather wear out than rust out." There is still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Friday. The urgent manhunt right now for a cop killer. Federal agents smashing through doors. The veteran detective and father was shot in the head and killed. The major reward tonight. Also at this hour, 3 prisoners on the run. Authorities revealing how they escaped and where they're searching. And your money. Next tonight here, your money. And Black Friday, usually the day after Thanksgiving, is here tonight. And so is Rebecca Jarvis.
Tonight, a week before Black Friday, and already the deals out in full force. Amazon delivering new discounts daily. We spotted this Samsung 55-inch 4K TV, $300 off. And these Bose headphones, $120 off. Plus, perks for Prime members, like special coupons and free 2-day shipping. Keep in mind, a 30-day trial membership is free. Already fierce competition for your holiday dollar. From Best Buy, where this laptop is now on sale for $189, to Walmart.
Get even lower prices.
Where this KitchenAid mixer is now $199, more than $160 off. To help you sort through it all,
Apps are definitely your friend. Now is not the time to be afraid of technology.
With apps like Flip, you can compare prices on all those store flyers. And with Camel, you can track those pop-up sales at Amazon and get alerts when prices drop.
But be careful before you download. It's estimated there are 32,000 fake mobile apps that can steal your personal information. And to be safe, stick to apps in the Google Play and Apple Store. Be wary of anything asking for access to your passwords and your credit card, David.
Google Play and Apple Store. All right, Rebecca, thanks. Coming up here on World News Tonight, the intense manhunt after here tonight. If you ever read Wonder, perhaps with your children or your grandchildren, you'll want to see what Elizabeth Vargas has found. This has been 3 years in the works.
ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, brought to you by Alka-Seltzer Plus Maximum Strength Liquid Gels.
Tonight, America Strong. So many families have read the book Wonder. My 2020 partner, Elizabeth Vargas, on a nearly 3-year journey with a boy so similar to the character in the book. He inspired us all to be treated like everyone else. And Elizabeth is with us here now, and you were saying that Nathaniel and his parents say that they were profoundly moved by that incredible book, Wonder.
That's right. That book has changed things for Nathaniel more than anything else, mostly because the main character in the book, Augie Pullman, there's an uncanny resemblance between the two boys.
And in fact, you read the book to your own boys, and then you heard from your mother.
I did. A woman in her book club emailed her and said, has Elizabeth heard of the book Wonder? Because I'm teaching a real-life Wonder Boy in my 5th grade class. That's how we found Nathaniel Newman and called his family immediately and followed them for nearly 3 years for this project tonight.
Well, I know this has been an incredible journey for you, too.
Yeah.
And we hope everyone will watch. Coming up tonight, a special edition of 2020, 10 p.m. Eastern right here, Wonder Boy.